Speaking of putting it in the net, Travis Konecny did it last night.
Sure did.
23rd of the season. Maybe he gets hot again, gets back on that 40-goal pace, but that would be pretty freaking insane thinking about how many games are left and how many goals that would take. But, man, we were talking about this last night, Kelly, and I seriously doubt it happens at the deadline. First of all, the salary implications, all that shit. It just seems like there's too much. But we keep getting told by the front office, listen, we can't be married to anyone. We can't fall in love with, we are going to do what's best for the long term. We're also hearing that they want to get TK done. Can't do it till July 1st. It's going to be sad if they were to trade TK because he's such a fucking flyer.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to re-sign him?
I mean, my instinct is yes, because I don't think anybody wants to get rid of Travis Konecny. Us, them, nobody wants to get rid of Travis Konecny. He's the best player on the team. That said, if someone makes you an offer that you can't walk away from, I don't know. Because you are still rebuilding, and you've been very clearly focused on it.
I want TK here.
I want him here too, honestly.
But is you already, Sanheim, Couturier, ain't nothing you can do. They're here. And hopefully they're the level we saw them a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, and that's who they are for the next few years, and everything turns out.
Mm-hmm.
But is keeping Travis Konecny a repeat of, you know what they probably should have done is trade Jake Voracek. You know what they probably should have done is rebuild rather than just let him and G drag them to the playoffs or a couple of points out for several years and lead us to this situation 8 years later where they've made no progress. They've regressed. Now we have to rebuild. Is it a repeat of the same mistake they made in the Hextall era?
See, the reason why I disagree with that concept is that when you say that, you are saying we don't want to repeat the same mistake. But the reason why that was a mistake wasn't because it was necessarily a mistake in isolation. It was a mistake because in retrospect, the people that were running the team didn't know how to build a good team around these guys. Now, if you are saying, will we be looking back in 7-8 years saying, man, we should have traded Travis Konecny because it turned out that Danny Briere and Keith Jones didn't have a clue how to build a good hockey team? Maybe, but I don't think you can trade him because you're afraid that the people running the show aren't good at their jobs. To me, keeping Konecny, it makes sense if you think that they can build a good team around him. And right now, I feel like you have to believe that they can, because if you can't, then what are we even doing here?
That was my exact thought, is that what this requires is you to trust that the people who are now in charge of this hockey team, who have said out loud that they're committed to doing it properly, are actually going to do it properly. And if you do believe that they can, which for me right now, I have no reason to believe that they can't because they haven't shown me anything bad so far. Maybe it's not so scary to be married to TK for the next 7-8 years because we know, or at least we feel strongly that probably Danny Briere is going to do a better job than Chuck Fletcher. He's going to do a better job than Ron Hextall. I mean, he's made 3 moves, and I feel like he's already proven that he's better than both of those guys at putting together an NHL hockey team.
I don't know if Danny's great. He hasn't fucked up yet.
Exactly.
He
hasn't.
He hasn't made the big mistake yet. There's been no Andrew McDonald contract. There's, he hasn't given anyone away.
I think where I'm at with TK at this point is I personally would not trade Travis Konecny in a package where it's all futures, where it's okay, we got 2 first-round picks and then a whatever prospect. I would trade Travis Konecny if I am getting back either a player, a young number 1 center type, an established guy who you're man, that's an impact guy. I trade him in a hockey trade, or I would trade him in a deal I'm not saying this would happen because no one would do this, but let's say if next year or whatever, well, I guess not next year because he'll need the contract, but if you could trade him for Quentin Byfield or something, where it's okay, or you could trade him for the 3rd overall pick where you can then get your future first line center. that would be a consideration to me because I'd be like, you know what? They're really strong along the wing. I don't want to lose Konecny, but I don't think this team's going to win a championship unless they have an impact 1C. If you can use Konecny to get that guy, I'm open to it. But I am no longer of the opinion that they should just trade him away for the team that offers the most draft picks.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Just thinking about what it's going to cost to keep him. Would you give him 8 times 8 right now? It might be more. I don't know. But
yeah,
like,
I probably would.
You give him 8 times 8,
Yeah,
make him the
probably.
highest paid player, commit to him for the long term?
Probably.
You probably have to, right?
I got to believe it's going to cost at least that.
Yeah.
Maybe a higher AAV and lower term, but if he's re-signing ahead of time, you would think he's doing that so he can get his 8th year.
Yeah.
Especially with the cap going up, yeah, I probably do.
We all silly like the mayor.